So, Mark, ahead of this weekend, we have no more international football. The Premier League is back in action, and the talking point is Manchester City versus Arsenal, a pivotal game in the title race. So, first of all, I want to get your predictions and how you think this game is going to go. And also, I want to talk to you about certain battles, mainly Foden versus Saka and Rodri or Rice. Who is the best out of those two?
Yeah, I think in relation to the game itself, we've obviously had a big break over the international break, and that can be a good and a bad thing. I mean, a lot of players go away for international duty, but the finger can go off the pulse a little bit in relation to the title race, and it's such a massive game. I think Man City obviously have the advantage being at home, but also at home after an international break, you're going to lose a little bit of rhythm. Arsenal had such good rhythm before. Can they take that into the Etihad? So I think Arsenal will be the underdogs in that game. They've got to get a result if they want to win the Premier League. And I still think that in relation to Saka, Foden and Rodri against Rice, I still think it's probably the same as the match itself. Arsenal are the pretenders to the throne, and Man City are the best. You know, they won the treble last year. I still think they're favourites to win the league. I think they've had a couple of lucky escapes. Certainly don't think they should be as close to Liverpool as they are. I mean, I think it was a penalty. And there's been a couple of other decisions, but we are where we are. And I think at the moment, Declan Rice is having an amazing season and could well be up for Player of the Year, but Rodri would be the elite holding midfielder in world football at the moment. Foden, Saka, I'd go a little bit different. I actually prefer Saka to Foden. I think what he's done in his career is more impressive in the sense that Arsenal weren't an established team. He came back from that miss in the Euros and has been ridiculously consistent week in, week out in an Arsenal side that's still growing. Whereas Phil Foden's a fantastic player, but he's surrounded by an amazing team and an amazing manager. And I'm not taking anything away from Foden. I just prefer Saka.
And also, when it comes to like the world class debate, because that seems to come up, especially around Foden and Saka, would you say sometimes the City players have proved their world class capabilities, and the Arsenal players are, as you say, pretenders to the throne? They're going to get it in a few years' time due to their age.
I think everybody has an individual appreciation of what world class is. I mean, I speak to some people and it's amazing what they class as world class. I mean, I think there has to be like James Maddison's not world class. He's a good player, but he's not world class. But some people would say he is. I do class Saka as world class because I think the consistency since the Euros has been so good that I genuinely think he is world class. I think he's a player that would drop into most teams. Some people feel that you've got to win something, but I mean, I disagree with that. There's countless players that are world-class players that never played in the World Cup because their national team wasn't good enough to do it. So Erling Haaland doesn't play in international tournaments, but he's definitely a world-class striker. So I think Saka's world-class, but you're right. Man City do it week in, week out. And there is a feeling with Arsenal that they're on that journey to that. And I think more players in that team can become world class. I'd say someone like Odegaard, if Arsenal actually achieve things, would start breaking into that bracket.
And finally, for this question, we want your combined 11 and a score prediction for the game as well.
I'd go Edison in goal. I would go Ben White at right back. I would go Saliba and Stones centre back. Left back would have to be, well, I mean, that's a difficult one because Man City don't really play
they're
one.
both quite weak, aren't they?
Yeah, I probably would go Aki at left back, actually. Yeah. Has to be Rodri, but I would find a place for Rice and I'd play De Bruyne ahead of them. Bit defensive, but I just think Rice has got to be in there. And then I'll go Saka on the right, Haaland up front, and on the left-hand side, I would probably drop in Foden there.
Yeah,
and score prediction. Score prediction, I'll go Man City 2-1. I think Man City will win, unfortunately.